On to Gabe. Gabe, you're live with Eric and Noah.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hey, doing all right. Yeah, doing all right. How about you, Noah?
I'm doing all right.
Yeah.
All right. I'm, you know, I'm not a Colts fan, so that helps.
Getting in the. Oh man, you're just stirring shit up.
Again, when you're a fan of like the worst team in the NFL, you got to make fun of everybody. You got to get it while you can.
Gabe, what do you want to talk about today?
Well, a couple weeks ago at work, I overheard a conversation. So two of my coworkers, one guy is, I don't know, mid to late 30s, and the other one was like a 16 or 17-year-old girl. Seems pretty impressionable.
Mm-hmm.
He was telling her about an astrology app that he had on his phone, and he asked him, or she asked him, how reliable is it? And he goes, oh, it's pretty reliable as long as they do it correctly. And that, really irked me. I didn't want to butt in because I wasn't in their conversation really.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to know what was the way to go about dispelling astrology.
Oh boy.
Wow.
All right. There are a couple ways. So the ones that I've seen in the past are when people cut out the what the different predictions are and then mix them up.
Yeah.
Say, can you find the one that that correlates to you?
Which one is the Pisces? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and which one is, because that would have to be specific to you. Another is, having somebody read a bunch. You could, pull a bunch of different predictions and say, no, this is all Capricorn. You're a Capricorn, right? Do these all relate to you? Well, absolutely, I'm a Capricorn. This all totally works. And you go, oh, well, actually, that's the entire zodiac.
Yeah.
So that helps. Fuck it. She doesn't listen to the show. I had a significant other who believed in astrology at one time. And, it's funny. We were on a long road trip and she was talking about something with a star sign. And I just kind of quietly looked over and said, that's all bullshit, right? And she kind of got quiet and she looked at me and she goes, well, no, it's not. I said,
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. No, it got bad, dude. It got real bad because if you walk people through it, can you separate people into 12 distinct groups? Does being born under a star sign mean that everyone born in the month of July is going to have X characteristics, right? How come we don't use that when it comes to hiring? How come that doesn't, go ahead, you got something.
Well, first of all, don't say that too quick. Some people do.
Fair enough.
But now, playing devil's advocate from the astrologer's perspective, they'll say, yes, sun sign astrology by itself is not enough. You also have to have moon, your moon sign and your Venus sign.
You were into woo, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So interestingly enough, though, the way that I figured out astrology was bullshit was exactly what you were saying, but by accident. Right, so I'm looking at this book, and my brother has given me a little shit, saying like, I don't think this is very accurate. And I open up the book to his, and the book that I was looking at was a book that combined the Chinese zodiac and the Western zodiac, so you'd be like, the Pisces dragon or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I read him out the description of himself, right, of the whatever he is, the tiger or something or whatever. And I read the description and I says, that sounds just like you to me. And he's like, yeah, it does. And then I looked and I realized I was on the wrong page.
Oh no.
I was like 2 pages ahead, and then I flipped over and I'm like, actually, no, this one is you. And I read it and he's like, yeah, that sounds like me too. And I'm like, okay, wait a minute, I see what's going on here. But I think, Gabe, I think there are two parts in your question here. One is, obviously, how do you debunk astrology? But the other is, how do you handle it when you're at work and it's not really appropriate for you to jump in and say, no, that's bullshit, right? Like, is that what you're asking, or are you asking more for, like, advice specifically on how to debunk astrology as a science?
Kind of both, kind of the facts, and then the most, I guess, genteel way to.
See, I'm not good at genteel. My methodology is to go bullshit. And
that works sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes, but it doesn't make you any friend.
Well, actually, what's funny is in the example of my significant other, all she needed to do is hear somebody say it. Mm-hmm. because so many people are so afraid to bring it up and talk about it and go, oh, that's actually not a thing, because they don't want to hurt somebody else's feelings. And that's why it's so important to say, hey, respect people. People are deserving of respect, but ideas are not. Right. Someone can have vile ideas. One that I think of is the Westboro Baptist Church, and yet we have Megan Phelps Roper, right? We have Nathan Phelps, right? Who came out of that, who believed that, and then changed, and so it's, man, first off, if you feel comfortable enough, you can say, hey, I actually don't think that's a thing, because what you might do is you might inspire them to want to prove it to you. Be a student. That could help.
Well, and there's two different things that you're wanting to tackle there, right? First is the older guy who's telling her about the app, and the other is the impressionable 16, 17-year-old girl. And I think those two obviously take completely different approaches, right? So the impressionable person who's first hearing about this, maybe all you need to do is take her aside later and say, hey, I heard you guys talking about astrology. Let me recommend this website to you. Let me recommend the Rational Wiki, or find something good online, Science-Based Medicine or something that breaks down astrology and shows it to you. And that may be all she needs, right? When it comes to dealing with the person who's selling the woo, obviously you've got to go to a deeper level with that. And I agree. I think the best way to do that is to just really engage in a conversation. Ask them, how do you know this is true? How do you test it? Because even just from the brief description that you were giving, the girl asks, well, is it accurate? And he says, when they do it right. Right? So, well, what about this when it was wrong? Well, they did it wrong, right? So it becomes a no true Scotsman fallacy, and it might be, yeah, exactly, and it might be that just by, doing the dialectic, right, and asking him to explain, how do you know this? How did you test this? How did you determine this? That might do the trick, or like Eric was saying, maybe it'll, fire him up to say, oh, you know what, I'm going to go in and I'm going to research and I'm going to come back tomorrow and I'm going to whip his ass in a debate and show him exactly why astrology is true. And, hey, that's how a lot of religious people became atheists, right? By going in there and watching the debates and stuff and saying, I'm going to learn how to defend my religion just like William Lane Craig. And they're like, wow, he gets his ass kicked by almost everyone. Oh, no. So it may even be something as simple as that.
I actually saw a really great video clip. It was a long time ago, back when Stephen Fry and Hugh Laurie had their show, a bit of Fry and Laurie. They went in and there was somebody who said that they could read star signs. And so they gave Hugh Laurie's birth date to this astrologer, and they didn't tell him who it was. And this astrologer listed out this person that is not Hugh Laurie at all.
Right.
And he stood up and said, well, actually, that's me. And Stephen Fry stood up and said, I'm best friends with him. That just does not match.
Yeah.
But Gabe, I hope that helps. And let us know how it works. Let us know how it goes.
Yeah, good luck, man. Fight the good fight.
Definitely.
Thanks.
Take care, brother.
Good talking to you.